Welcome. It's so great to have you here.
Thanks
Um,
for having me.
your Instagram is at Soraxer, and you're in Vienna, Austria, right? Now,
Yes, exactly.
cool.
In
But
Austria, I'm not
Austria.
Austrian, I'm German. Yeah. It's like, I
You're
mean, it's the
German.
same thing in my opinion, but
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
if
But
you're
you're
from
originally
South
from Berlin.
Germany, no, I was born on a farm in Bavaria. So
Oh, okay.
very isolated. That's also why I guess it plays a part in why I started tattooing for sure.
Okay. Hell yeah. 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 I'm from rural America. I hear you.
Yeah, sick.
Um,
I
so
love it.
tell us a little bit about your like back history, like, what you're a part of this. I'm calling it Eurotrash. I hate to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it works, right? For now. Um,
I mean, it's been that term. Also, Eurotrash is nothing that is new. There was Eurotrash waves before. There will be new Eurotrash wave. There will be Europeans doing Y2K, whatever you want to call it, you know. And I think, yeah, it fits. It fits, and it's easy readable. Let's call it Eurotrash. Why not? You know,
I
it's
love it.
just a just a term we're gonna use.
Yeah. It's
Um,
tools for communication, right? It's just a,
yeah.
so
So
you're a part of this, right?
yeah, I think I moved to Berlin when I turned like fresh 18, and also got like my first tattoo when I was fresh 18. Where I just traveled to Berlin back and forth, and I was also working as a model at that time. So I always had like some days in Berlin and then some days at the farm. And yeah, I don't know. It just got too heavy black. Everything was very black workish. And there was, and like I can show you, first tattoo I got was also very dark,
Oh wow,
like
that's a lot of
like
black.
this one. Yeah.
Like a
And then I
huge part of
just
black on your arm.
like
Yeah.
I was so tiny. I was even smaller than I am now, and had like this huge black tattoo on my arm. So I just decided that, I want to experiment with the idea of tattoo, and it's interesting me to change this dimension of tattoo in general. So it was always like an approach, an idea, something I had in mind. I've done some hand pokes by then for sure, like
What year was
10 or
this?
something. 2018, I think.
18. Okay.
Yeah. But I never considered myself an artist. I think that's the main thing about me.
Oh.
Also took years for me to be like, oh, actually, you're somewhat special with this. So like, just take yourself more serious. And also, I guess the relationship I had at that time made me take art more serious, or also understand art as like a job, a medium, whatever, not just something I do because I'm bored and I'm trying to get my time loaded with stuff. So yeah, I got these pretty intense black works done as my first tattoos, and I simultaneously did very scratchy, super small stuff.
You started tattooing and when you were 18, you said in Berlin?
No, that was still back home when I did my first tattoos. It was, I think, it was 16, 17 on a friend. Like we just ran somewhere to pick up a shitty machine on eBay, and then I just tattooed her because she got so scared of the sound. It was like a coil. And she was like, "Oh, I don't want to use it." I was like, "No, we just went there to get it. We're gonna use this machine now." And I don't know. I thought about a way I can actually show you some pictures. But
Yes.
yeah, this might take a moment because I'm not prepared for it.
No, that's okay. That's really
Finding
great.
that post. It's a very old post of mine, but I think it's actually very interesting thing because
Right.
most of my style came from me not being able to tattoo, obviously. Like I had no idea what I was doing, and I also had no serious interest in learning the traditional way. Like, of course, I want to make a perfect artwork. Ultimately, that's the goal, but I don't want to go somewhere and be told how to do it. I think I had this approach with every medium of art. Like, I don't do this with music, I don't do this with painting, with drawing, with graphic design. It's my main interest is the brokenness, the in between spaces, you know? So,
Yeah. I feel like if you have to really love it. You have to, if it's someone who's not just like you don't think it's incredible or inspiring, then why are you going to invest your time in it with those
yeah,
people, right?
sure. Where it's
So this is significant because, this is around the time, as far as I can tell, this movement kind of started shifting. It was around, like 2017, 2018, where we start seeing this sort of new style and a new way of approaching tattooing that I haven't ever really seen before. Starting in Europe,
Yeah.
um,
I don't, for me, growing up, it was like y- you have to kind of imagine this Eurotrash, what I said before. It's been there. Like even when we grew up, it was always around us. There was always some ignorant movement, and especially located around Berlin, there was always ignorant style. And I think certain cities have this approach or touch to it that a style like this will become the most popular thing in that city. And then I think it has like an interesting effect for outstanders where they perceive it as the mainstream globally or like also for them, but it actually has nothing to do with their local thing, you know?
mhm.
So
Would you say Berlin is like the tattoo capital of the world? It
no,
seems
not at
like that.
all. I
No?
don't think that's true at all. No, it's the tattoo capital of people who were willing to get experimental work done, I would
Okay,
say.
I like that.
If anything, like
Okay.
there's other cities. I think New York is very interesting in what the people like to get tattooed. I think London, UK's experimental style, very like bold, very graffiti. Not my
Yeah.
vibe, super ugly in my opinion, but it really goes there, you know? It's really like everyone in the UK has one of those bold, like gritty, meshy tattoos.
Hmm.
And it shows how this effect, micro trend or something can happen with anything almost, I think. And well, now it's not a micro trend anymore, but it used to be back then. So for
It's
me,
the underground artists like creating this style and this culture though in these cities, and it's the people, right? Like you get these little friend groups kind of maybe like
yeah,
inspiring each other to kind of create these trends.
yeah, I don't know. It was definitely a distant movement. So there was people were not actively talking to each other in that way, like it sounds maybe now, because now we spoke, oh, everyone spoke with each other. It's
Yeah.
beautiful community, really. I love everyone in this, in my field. It's so interesting and fun beyond tattoo.
Yeah.
I had friends beyond tattoo, like Gate, for example, that I knew beforehand already, before the movement, before anything. And our ways of thinking about design or fashion or art was already aligned. And so you kind of knew about people, but I couldn't say he was my friend back then already.
Okay.
It's just, you know about people. Hi.
Yeah. So tell me about your like what was happening in Ukraine around this time? Because I know like euthanasia
Exactly.
sport and stuff like that, and the heavy sort of black work.
Big mention also, I think, is a very, very important fact to mention because these people have already created their own micro storm of influence of design language of how to tattoo, how to use hand poke, how to abuse machine groupings and needle grouping sizes, you know. So I have one hand poke tattooed on with 18 round liner on my foot
Wow.
in
Yeah, super bold.
5 minutes.
Wow.
Beautiful. That's real skill. That is real adapting to what you're drawing. Like he draws with the marker and then he 18 round liner
They're doing those
and every
tattoos very fast.
very fast and hyper precise because it's already adapted. It's like the style went to the max. They maxed it out. Really, they also worked together a lot. There was I remember Slava Konov, kind of like the head of everyone, bringing together the people, sharing the knowledge of how to do this style, how to get to good results in short
Was this
time.
in
Blah
like
blah blah.
Kiev or
That for sure was in Kiev. Yeah, and
so?
also Kiev Berlin relationship at that time was extremely strong.
Okay.
People were going back and forth all the time, and it was like let's say Kiev had like parts of Berlin that Berlin doesn't have anymore. People are still romanticizing Berlin for these parts that are maybe not existing at this point, but
Yeah.
Kiev still has them or had
Yeah.
them before
I
the
just
war
want to say
started, obviously.
it's accessible too. I think that's an important point, right? By doing them faster, it's cheaper,
Yeah.
right? Do you
So
think
you
that's a
could get like a
factor
hand poke for 50 to 150 euros, I think. 150 was the average prices, I think, back then.
for a
For,
big
yeah, for
tattoo?
something like this, yeah,
Yeah.
anything. And I think then obviously naturally the people gravitate away from style language when you have reached this maximum level of it. I think also technically it should happen to this very dainty small style, but maybe not because it's a different technique. It's not necessarily just a drawing language. It's like a whole different way of making transparent tattoos that are
Yeah.
not supposed to be transparent, maybe, because it's not the technique for transparent, but it is transparent in the end of what it is. So
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, about the micro fine line tattoos. It's definitely different than the Eurotrash movement, which is
I think
an
so.
entire philosophy and different way of doing things. And
Yeah.
you know,
But
um,
I mean, I guess micro fine line or generally realism is a bit the same because it's also it very much benefits from the way from the design language. Like every realism flash portrait translated to the design, you will see that the person who does it the best is using a lot of white space, a lot of emptiness, and a lot of key points that define your portrait or the shape that you want to display. So I think it's the same of going into this very opposite direction, making it, it's like squinting your eyes onto an image and being like, the last traces that I can still see, I will just mark them out, and that's gonna be it, you know.
for like doing
So
Eurotrash tattoos, right? You're
yeah,
like rendering it differently.
I think it actually has a lot to do with micro realism or realism, the approach of realism and this Eurotrash. It's the same spectrum that, for me at least, it feels like the same spectrum in two different ways. Like the
And
one
like the
needs also
technical
meets its.
aspect, like for doing tattoos, like it uses similar printers, similar tattooing techniques, right?
No, I mean, not really. Of course
Well,
not.
like
Actually, like I'm saying, just the design process, right?
design
So
process. Okay.
when you design a realistic portrait of someone, you want to just mark their key aspects and then get the really buttery, nice shading into that corner, you know?
Yeah.
And let's imagine the opposite behavior of this way of approaching a design would be to just take like the rough lines that like Japanese line work, for example, or like ink work drawings where you have a lot of very markant technical lines. So I think these are like the same approach of what I'm trying to do for me, just two very different sides of it. But what I'm trying to do is to always have the same structure. I'm looking at it, I'm squeezing my eyes, I'm simplifying what I can see, and then either I go into realism or I go into abstraction, right?
Cool. So how does like the black work happening with like euthanasia sport and those guys and like 2018 through 2020 in Ukraine? You said people like were moving away from that and starting to do more like Eurotrash stuff with like lighter inks and
I think first, before lighter inks and lighter tattooing came, and also broken tattooing came into it, there was the change of you know, when you do black works, you just try to stencil the hard outline so you don't get a whole smudge on the body of just a lot of stencils on it.
yeah, yeah.
And I think I realized it. Everyone I know realized it, but every time I did some stencil for black work, people were like, "Oh, that also looks cool. Maybe we just do that." Thinking like, oh, this will save me 5 hours of pain and it maybe saves me some money. And also, it actually looks really cool to just have the outline. Now
Yeah.
you have artists specialized in this style. Like, I don't know how to say their username, but I'm a big fan of Krutsko. Krutsk. I don't know. Very crazy. It's super only outline, only like the raw media of a blackwork stencil, like
Mhm.
the process in between process tattoo. I like it. And this became popular. I really have to say, I had even blackboard colleagues complaining, like everyone is always telling me to just get the outline. I don't want to do the outline only. I always do filling, like I'm used to this practice. I don't want to stop, you know. And for me, it was quite cool because I mean, I'm new to the game. I'm new to tattooing. I enjoy some new directions, and I just accepted it. I was like, yeah, then let's do the outlines. Let me just make them a bit nicer, maybe, or add some speckles to it, little freckles, little dot.
So real quick, I want to ask a question about like just like a quick overview of like what's happening around this time. So we're looking at like 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. Like how did you fit into that? Like did you start tattooing a lot, traveling to different cities? Are you seeing other people start to travel a lot? Like how did this movement kind of start and spread?
I think it was like before the pandemic. It was very local in Berlin. There were people doing hand poke really nicely, really nice Gothic works, Gothic style, kind of like romantic style. Then there was people doing like microrealism. I think Ronnie Lee, for example, good example. But then there was also Ataronics and maybe Vespar, I think, also very nice and mentionable at this time because they were doing some sort of alien-esque Gothic style. It was Gothic, a lot of ornaments, a lot of romanticism, fairiness, and whatever, but also it was alien, which
Like
was
dark fantasy kind of stuff?
like repetitive patterns. I don't know, somewhat the feeling of futuristic drawing, futuristic
Yeah.
artworks with a Gothic touch in some sort of medieval
Yeah.
range, you know? So
Yeah.
slowly it just started merging all together to, there was inspiration still from the people before our time who
Where
were
was like
doing
Ataronics? How do you say it?
Ataronics, I think.
Ataronics? Huge, I mean, one of the best artists.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
she's amazing.
she started tattooing around that time too, right? And doing these
Yeah.
big crazy pieces. And where was she at, like in tattooing at? Were you tattooing with these people? Did you know them? Like how did you like
I
meet these
mean,
artists or see them coming up?
I think I'm a really fairly simple person. If I like someone, I just book them. I don't talk much. I'm like, let's just go and meet and I see how it's gonna go.
Yeah.
And I have one of her fifth tattoos or something, like
No
very
way.
first. I think I'm very lucky to have them. And yeah, I mean, we just got along, we just chat. And I also always tend to ask people what they think about their art, why are they doing what they're doing.
Did you like book a
And
tattoo with her? Or did you do a trade?
yeah, no, I just book a tattoo. Like I said, if I really like what someone is doing, I just just
That's
book
how you do
them.
it. That's the best
It's
thing to do.
yeah,
What was that? Like 2019 or something then?
I think so. Yeah, probably.
Everything changed in the pandemic then,
Yeah.
right? Is that when it started getting really big on like
So
Instagram?
there was like 2 years of it rolling out. Let's say since 2018 to early 2020 that we didn't have lockdown in Germany, nothing like that. So the Corona pandemic was not that real yet.
Really? I didn't know that.
No, yeah, Germany was one of the last countries to close. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
because they really enjoy us getting sick. But whatever. So when the Corona pandemic actually hit, everything changed because people were kind of convinced for a moment that they will lose their just freshly acquired job or also their like main hobby or whatever keeps them mentally sane.
Mhm.
And actually, the opposite happened. I think we were all blessed and lucky by just a very vast amount of time and socializing. And, obviously you couldn't charge like a crazy rate or like a big rate, but why also it was more like a social thing, like, hey, let's get together. We can still do some tattoo. At least, if we can't go to a bar to do anything else, then we can meet in the private studios.
I mean, there's a huge amount of tattoo trades as a part of the Eurotrash movement. Like everyone is doing collabs and trades, and everyone is inspired by each other. I feel like that's such a big part of it, and that's so cool.
Yeah, I think it also comes from where we tattoo, like we mostly chose the home places, home studios, or someone's private studio. I had a private atelier for not many time, and I ho enjoyed hosting a lot of people at my place. But also, like I know from Ziska, for example, she tattooed out of her apartment for many years, and also every time I was at her place, it was super comfy. So I think also this plays a lot in the way everything is networking differently than in a studio. Like
Oh yeah,
it's also what was missing at a certain point for me in my life. Like it was too personal and sometimes too little about the what are we actually doing. But I think this is what made this movement so successful is that no one was talking about it for like unspoken commitment kind of from everyone. Also that we're not gonna name it and we're not gonna say anything and we're not gonna apologize for anything that we're doing.
yeah,
Because you have to imagine when I started tattooing, what I did was still fucked up. Like it was not as well read and accepted than nowadays. Like I had colleagues or other people telling me, "Yo, like you need to get better. Like your shit sucks." And I'm like, I know that it sucks, but also no one is teaching me. So I'm having fun doing this, so why will I
If
stop?
your
I won't
clients are
stop.
happy, like people will just want to support you and really like what you're doing. And it's like more than just the design, right? You're saying you sort of brought a sacredness back to it, and it's about the art and it's about
Exactly.
the
And also
experience.
a softness to it that is not like, ah, yeah, you have to shut up now and sit down and I will chain you to your chair and we're doing this fucking tattoo and then get out, you know? Like, I think I've
Mhm.
had too many of that tattoos done on me. And I'm just like, it made no sense for me. Like, why would I have spent my entire day with someone like this? I think it was also for everyone in my field very important that we change or you change the way you interact with your client.
Yeah.
Like we're all friends at the beginning of the day, and then maybe at the end of the day you were my client. But I think it makes no sense. Anything else for me makes no sense.
Yeah, and people like that. I mean, you're not the only one who feels like that, you know, like lots of people feel that way, you know. That's true. That was a thing happening. People are more interested in private studios and softer experience than this hardcore like studio like tattoo studio experience. And that's a good point. That changes how the style spreads. I think a thing a lot of people maybe don't know is like how much you travel. I feel like a lot of like Eurotrash artists are just like in America, it's like expensive and difficult to get around. But I feel like in Europe, it seems like you
Life.
guys go to a lot of different cities.
I think in America it is maybe not as how to say it. It's like people are not educated on how easy it is to be around in America. It seemed for me. Like I had so many people being like, "Oh, I've never been to LA." I'm like, "What the fuck?" I'm flying to LA next week because it was only $120. So that I
Hmm.
think it can't be the prices because your prices are fairly okay for the distance that you travel. Like if I travel in Europe 5 hours, it's definitely more than 200. And from LA
Oh,
to New York is 5 hours, I think, or
yeah, it's
something
like
like that.
100,
So you have
$120.
to
Yeah.
imagine the distances we're going is like a joke, right? If I go to Greece, that's 1 hour flight. If I go to London, 45 minutes flight. So I think it's
Shit,
yeah,
well, that's expensive.
Europe is just smaller, and I think that's why it's so easy for us to be in all these hot places quite quickly, or go
What
like on a
places?
good
Like
trip.
what are the hubs? Like what are the cities that where this Eurotrash is happening and spreading at?
Mhm. Every city that is big, basically.
I think
Every
like
city.
when I think Berlin, Prague, London,
Hmm.
Paris, in Poland you have like Warsaw, um you have and oh in Germany there's another city, right? Lausanne or something or
Leipzig,
maybe.
you mean?
And then
Leipzig?
Amsterdam.
Lausanne is in Switzerland,
Oh,
and
Switzerland.
Switzerland,
Yes.
I think Switzerland city is like Zurich, as
Yeah.
I understood.
Yep,
But
Zurich. Yep.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of scratchers now in the UK. There's also scratchers now in Paris, which I understood are mostly international people, which is actually really fascinating because Paris never really worked for me also. So I'm curious how is the Paris booking process functioning?
Everyone says like there's no harder country to book in for an American artist than Paris. Because why would a Paris
There's
person book an
no
American
hard
artist?
there's no harder place to book anyone than in
Okay,
Paris. But if you book people in Paris, they're cool as fuck, and it's really a lot of fun. And it's also more people will book you for the social aspect of
cool.
this tattoo rather than because I don't know, I don't really understand Paris, so I don't. Maybe I need to talk with someone from Paris about it to understand it. For me, a good place to travel always is London. A good place is to go. Copenhagen is very easy and so accessible. It's also nice to go to the cities anyway. I
Copenhagen
think,
seems like one of the major cities at the root of the
yeah,
Eurotrash movement starting,
yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah,
Also,
Copenhagen.
I think maybe it has similarity with Berlin. The people are open to this newness, and it also has a certain standard privilege that allows people to go there, actually, you know.
Hmm.
So you have to imagine maybe some people try to make it look like this, that it's actually like trashy, broke people doing this style who have like nothing, and we're like almost homeless, but that is barely the truth, in my opinion. Everyone is well off,
Yeah, definitely. You have a whole
I
spectrum.
think.
Like even I will say this with the Eurotrash movement that people who are like are have some sort of like like privilege or support, they still
Yeah,
are marginalized people though. You're not people who can just walk into a traditional tattoo shop and get a job. It's like a lot of queer
yeah,
people, a lot of like
of course.
alternative people that are not in normal society though still, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think
Yeah.
this is what makes this movement so autonomous. But also, I think it not like from a socio-economical place, but somewhat a personal standard or privilege only gives you the idea that you can actually do this, because it is a bit like you say, it's like not socially conform. Like I could have just gone into a tattoo shop and do like my apprenticeship, but
Well,
no.
in America though, they would take you like if you were like not like one of their buddies, like their like cousin or something, they'll have you work for free for 11 months and do your whole
Wow.
apprenticeship and treat you like shit the whole time. And then they just
Mhm.
drop you before your time to start tattooing starts. And they
Yeah,
just do that every
I've
yeuld
heard about this.
It's really common, really common. It's crazy.
It's kind of brilliant way to educate people. No, I'm joking. It's not. It's
They
cool.
Yeah, it's so common. But so anyways, credit to the Eurotrash movement. This is a movement of the underground, of what I mean. Um,
Yeah, it's also knowing that you're doing something that is maybe not appreciated by the common idea, you know?
takes bravery and passion, and people who are willing to risk a lot.
Mm.
And even people that do, like I said, have the privilege, like, of course, some people who are able to draw their whole lives and go to art school and do all these things have some level of privilege. Definitely has allowed for some artists to do some incredible work. It's always
Mhm.
complicated. You know what I mean? Me, I'm like a really poor person from like the rural Midwest. I'm like a white trash American from the Midwest who never had
Mhm.
any kind of schooling or money. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm always just like, wow, can you imagine what it'd be like if you got to go to art school? Like, I like privilege is college, you know what I mean? So I'm just like,
Yeah.
but none of that matters because it's all about the art. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
No, it
about
does
the
matter.
movement.
And let's like move on from this topic soon, but I think it really matters. And I think this is what gives us European such a vast, widespread view onto this artsy. I think because, everyone that I know had something to do with art or has gone to college. It's for free here. We all have the resources at our hand. We have parents. They do like music as like their main side thing or even work in arts. And yeah, it's like what people, I remember seeing a reel one time and people were like, yeah, like tattooing has changed from being this like self brain grinding one man show to like, I don't know, people studying fine arts and then getting into microrealism. And it's like such a different level now of what is tattoo, what can be tattooed, what is tattooable, what makes sense as a tattoo. And
And it's
also
new.
something else someone said to me, the Angelis, really cool person also. We were always discussing, at the beginning of the movement, the question was, what will actually stay? Because all the traditional tattooers are like, yeah, shit's not gonna stay. 1 week, this is gonna fall off. 2 years, you're gonna have a blob. It's actually all bullshit.
It
In
is.
my opinion, everything stays. And he said it, and I don't know, it just took away most of my anxiety. It's really whatever you do will stay. Yeah, I have so many tiny chips on my fingers or something where I accidentally stabbed myself, like, and they are staying. I have to laser them if I want to get rid of it. Like everything ultimately will leave a mark on your body because we're soft bodies. Like we're not made to be scratched and poked.
It's hard to make a tattoo that disappears. Very hard.
Actually, I did it one time. One of my first tattoos, it got infected and it completely left. And to this day, I haven't managed to recreate this effect because wow, it was great. But yeah, how had to do it.
So let's name some artists, right? So you
Yeah.
listed I want to say this thing happened where people on TikTok, like for the last year, I've been seeing Eurotrash is just called cyber sigilism. And everyone just like who just is new, 17, 18, 16 on TikTok, they just think it's called cyber sigilism. And I thought that sucked because that kind of erased the history of Eurotrash. They think instead maybe it starts in America or something, or it's just a trend, but it's not. So let's talk about some of the artists that were like kind of part of these early movements, like Heteronix and Vesper and
Yeah.
Janica Sandstorm.
Yes.
Um,
Really cool. Also, Roni Lee, which you already had on your channel. Also, I bought a machine from her, for example. We
Really?
had some contact. We had like cats from the same family. Like my cat
Oh,
was her cat's brother. Like it's like just like random overlaps in our lives. Also very beautiful connection. Um, and also I got a tattoo from her one day. I remember.
that's so cool. So we seen like, okay, euthanasia was doing this awesome stuff in Kiev, and then it kind of we started seeing this like sort of e-girl tattoo, cyber and gothic and romantic style happening, and then like all of these other people start doing this crazy stuff, like this detailed, like fairy core stuff, and that's all spreading like crazy. Um, and then so now we're moving into like 2021, 2022, 2023.
Yeah,
Um,
and a lot more people have joined this movement. At then there's like now there's 10 artists in Warsaw. You have to imagine there's 5 artists in France, people from the Netherlands, people from Norway, I don't know, Denmark, Oslo, Stockholm. You had like a cool artist in every corner doing something of this broad idea, and kind of slowly people started picking their corners. Like, oh, I'm gonna go more portrait direction. I will stay with ornaments. I will do big figurative pieces. I will do big, architectural pieces.
So what
But
connects so like what connects everyone and then what makes them different, right? It's like a philosophy, right? Or like a way of doing tattoos.
yeah, I think, like I said before, what changed a lot was that now outlines were already enough. Just an outline was enough for doing that's a finished tattoo. Like one big old limitation or question from the old generation of tattoo just gone all of a sudden. So there was a lot of potential possibility. Doing two outlines next to each other was a really big style for a long time. And also shrinking your details more and more all the time. So you take the image you have, and I actually have some drawings here from that time.
Oh yeah, show us anything you have.
So it's like really like so small.
Mm-hmm.
It's like barely the size of the needle.
And that's like a tattoo stencil, yeah.
This is gonna be a tattoo stencil. Like that's how we were thinking more or less at that time. And then you just took like elements from bigger pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, the graphic is so bad.
But when you're using like a lighter technique and like not saturating as deep and not using as dark of ink and stuff, it doesn't blur together. It stays, you
It
know.
does blur. It does blur for sure.
I mean, some I
In
just meant some of the smaller details, like sometimes they do, of course, but like it doesn't all just become a blob, like you said. Like,
Yeah, of course, like that weird thing where people are like, it will become a blob. It's a specific thing of overworking. We have seen it all, but this
right,
barely happens in this style.
exactly.
It's far away from that type of saturation. Actually, this happens when people do black work, mixed realism, semi-realism. I think it's the most blobby style on earth. Most aubergine, we call it. I call it eggplant shape. Biggest enemy in tattooing is anything eggplant shaped. You don't want an eggplant on your body. Simple as
Huh?
that. So that's for me like a blobbed tattoo. And this is mostly a design mistake rather than technical mistake or something.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, this tiny butterflies, they're maybe gonna lose some detail, but it will become it will always stay a readable tiny butterfly because it's just already so primitive the shape that it's so simplified. Probably I used a drawing on my iPhone from real butterflies and I just went over with it a few times with like a sketching pencil. Like fairly simple. And also I know most of the people were using these transparent papers, and
Whoa.
still you can see how like the gothicness, this like the constellations, how it all
Mhm.
kind of comes into play of just texture, but from far away you won't be able to read this that well. Like it's just gonna be shapes. So
Yeah.
it's like a mix of sticker, tattoo, and sleeve work. So you want to have close up, you want to have readable details, you want to have information in your tattoo, but further away, I want it to be abstract. I want to just have like a lace pattern over my arm that doesn't necessarily represent not anything
Yeah, it's about the
besides the
aesthetic.
effect. It's the aesthetic effect. And closer, you still want to have information somehow. So I think this became a huge trend because there was the separation, like I just showed you. There were people doing very small, dainty little sticker stuff, and then there was people doing these gothic structures. And slowly it started merging. So what's now understood as Eurotrash, I think, is a mix of Gothic structure and portrait tattoo. So when you combine these two, you get to slash chromatic, for example.
Mhm,
Good example, beautiful work, like super nice. And it's exactly this. It's like structured sleeve tattoo
mhm.
mixed with portrait sticker
Yeah.
tattoos.
Yeah, and
And
it's like
it's a beautiful recipe to make art, you know?
right, yeah, because, like, the old way of kind of thinking is someone is like, "I want a palm tree tattooed on my arm to represent something," but with, like, Eurotrash, it's about, "I'm gonna look awesome." Like, I'm changing my vibe, like, my overall look, like, my aesthetic, right? It's
Yeah. Actually, I have people coming being like, yo, like, let's do palm tree. And I'm like, sure, let's add like a dolphin and some waves. And then I will do my recipe again, just with your palm tree little detail portrait in it. So it's really like a recipe to cook. And
it's like
I
a
think,
sophisticated way of approaching design, in my opinion, because 'cause you're thinking about
yeah,
how this looks on a body, whereas maybe a lot of old style tattoos were just like, "We need to get this
hmm
done to make my money and get out the door."
and I need to get this as solid as it can. I'm like, what do you mean by solid, actually? I don't know. I still don't understand what is a solid tattoo, but I think maybe it's better for me to stay inconsistent. And I really enjoy trying out everything. Like for me, it was also when I started tattooing, I knew that one day I want to become super, super good at this technical field. But I also felt like it's not a matter of rushing it or stressing to get to this point of being like super technically skilled.
And you bring up a really important point is the clients, how the people buying these tattoos fit into the picture. A lot of them are happy to support you while you're learning and experimenting because it's
Yes.
more about like being part of a movement and the experience. And I think a lot of people don't understand that. Like the clients are who make this possible and they're happy to be a part of it, right? And it's not about it
Yeah.
like being this insanely incredible thing because that's also very expensive too, you know?
Yeah. I mean, realistic tattoos are, I guess, still the peak of expensive tattooing. And like I said before, we're again on this realism, abstract scale. And obviously, abstract tattoos are much cheaper and much more accessible to tattoo on someone in a short time. Because, yeah, I think, like we said also with the outline trend before, everything stopped being so heavy. People were like more like drawn to just having the silhouette of object.
Let's talk about the
Same.
money. So like $5,000 is like the most expensive, right? For like a really famous artist doing like realism.
Hmm.
But a lot of like celebrity scratchers, that have a lot of bookings, they travel from city to city and they get lots of bookings, probably are closer to $1,000 for a day session. I think so too. Yeah. So,
And they will really work their ass off for like 10, 11 hours,
yeah, literally.
sacrifice their health for your tattoo.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I do a lot of work that is in the way, like especially now because I was a scratcher and I'm not a scratcher anymore. I think I can do scratcher tattoos because I enjoy them and I think it's a beautiful art form, but I also, like I said, I had this technical challenge on myself that I need to learn realism by the end of 40 at least.
Yes.
I'm getting there. It's gonna be no problem. But also, so now kind of I can offer too many styles, and I have a hard time pricing it fairly for myself because I still think in the mindset of before when I used to do more scratchy tattoos, and I could offer someone like really nice prices under 500 euros mostly. Like I think my price was 50 euros for 1 year for whatever tattoo you want for all this small stuff. Then I went to 150 euros for whatever tattoo you want to have. And then I went to 250 euros minimum and I just stayed there now. Like now I have my 250 euro minimum and an hourly rate of 120 euros and it's perfect like this. Like this I just check my machine, I read how many hours I've spent and I can negotiate on a basis of something. And before that, I think with the Eurotrash movement, it really affected the basic tattoo industry like a lot because all the clients were coming to us all of a sudden because it was so much more affordable. And also, I think I had a lot of clients coming to me being like, wow, this is so cool. Like, I expected to pay at least 2,000 euros for my entire arm. Now I paid 300, 400, and I have a really nice tattoo all over my entire arm. I think for that moment, subjectively, it's everything completely perfectly fine, and I also found it unnecessary from the tattoo industry or studio industry to react to it like this because, yeah, the fluctuations are gonna come. People are gonna come back to you in your studio in 5 years, and you're gonna have your rush again, and then it will go back into the underground having their rush again. And also sometimes people get too comfortable in their position, and this is what happened before 2018, is that the studio mainstream tattoos were too comfortable in their position, and they felt like they're the kings who were like, oh, I'm owning this tattoo game. Like, no, you don't, because at some point you get lazy. You also get it to the limits of your physical exceeding your limit, basically. And it's also something I think a lot of new scratchers will face in the next years, especially those who have like really fast income or really fast clients traffic incoming. It is a very exhausting job, and it is so motivating. I know it's so stoked and so hyped to tattoo everyone, but your hand and your arms and your neck muscles are really suffering from this job. And it takes a different way of growing. So I think every scratcher is like a beautiful progress of growth, and it's really nice to see the Eurotrash movement grow, and also to see people leave or join it. And yeah, I think now slowly when we're gonna start talking about what happened and why, I think it also will be more peaceful for everyone somehow. Like
Yeah.
I think saying nothing has given too much opportunity now to attack all the time and to hate all the time. And it's actually such a beautiful thing. It's like nothing to hate on. Like really, the clients have created this style. Like, we keep going back to it, but like the clients were coming for a short, nice session with like a little bit of fancy something that they fancy in their culture already. And yeah, I think it's where tattoo originated originally before studios made it completely institutional or tried to make it institutional. Tattoos come from the people. It's like the people come to you and they want to have body modifications. They will come again, and I think it's more importantly the spirit.
The people built the Eurotrash movement. It's the clients,
It's really the client. It's also the clients asking for, can we do this smaller? Can we, I don't know, add spikes? Can we, I
You
don't
look
know, can I
okay.
get this? Hmm?
You look okay. I dig it.
Sorry,
It looks
my
good.
phone tweets.
Yeah, it's good. I actually like it. It's a vibe.
Okay. Yeah. What else should we talk about still?
Yes,
Maybe
of course.
the
So want to take just a quick
technicalities.
minute to shout out Substack. Everyone who has come over to watch the live stream on Substack. It's so great to have you here. Really appreciate what Zach and the live devs are doing with being able to turn this into a podcast is incredible. And it's just a really amazing platform, and all of the free services they offer, like emailing all of your clients. You can post and it sends out a mailing list to everyone. You can go live stream, and then you can download clips and post it as a podcast on Apple Podcast and Spotify. Like, we're only going to be on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, podcasts, all of that. And that's just incredible. And it's a platform that's all about like, yo, write something, like write about something. Right. And that's like a space to come with everyone struggling with Instagram. It's great to be here where people are writing meaningful things about their life and their culture and stories. And it's just really appreciated a lot. So shout out Substack, and shout out to the devs working on the live streams. Incredible. So for our second half, I thought it would be great to talk a bit about we could talk about the technical aspect of this, right? Because you said every person brings their own touch to Eurotrash. You know what I mean? It's not like everyone does the same traditional tattoo rows in traditional style, right?
Yeah.
Every artist is bringing their own unique touch to this, and that's special, I feel like, right?
Yeah, I
Like,
think this is where we're gonna have to talk a lot about brokenness in art. I think like it's a good way to see it. And this is also where I don't know, I to this day don't know from certain people if they understand their own technique. I don't know if that makes sense to say it. Like I asked them, I'm like, what's the recipe of what you're doing? They're like,
Yeah.
I'm like, also a valid recipe to not know, I think. And yeah, I think same topic than before. It's a lot of very unspoken things. So like what I wrote in the notes for you is my techniques, is my understanding of the people that I've watched tattooing, that I have asked questions. And we're again on the ignorant realism scale. So basically, if you would go very low on your machine and use the same hand speed, then a realist for the drawing is kind of this effect. You can get the same effect by using your machine very high on like 7 to 10 volts. But this is a bit scary, I think. And most people don't tend to do this when they start tattooing. So the style mostly gravitates around low voltage and still a quick hand speed. Usually, if you're lining on 4.5 volt, you can do that, no problem. You have to be really gentle, slow, patient, and
It's slow
you're
going.
gonna have a butter line. But you don't want that. So we just go slow settings because it's safer for the skin. Basically, that was kind of always the rule of thumb. Is like we're all experimenting with texture, so I might as well use the safest setting for my client in order to not scar them, to not hurt them unnecessarily much, beyond what I want to tattoo on.
Literally the lowest setting on the tattoo machine can go
Yeah,
on the, and
just
most people are using these wireless pens from like Amazon, right?
most exactly. They all go, I think, to 4.5 is the
Yep.
lowest one, and machine with volt with a DC outlet, you can go down to 2.5. Try it out. Like I think it's the safest way to tattoo on a low setting, on the low voltages, and building yourself up, building your confidence up. And then at the same time, I also understand people who can't use low setting at all.
I just
And
want to say too, noticed a lot of Eurotrash artists, they don't even put the bandage on the tattoo because it's already like healed in like one day. You know what I mean? Like I
yeah,
see a lot of them, they'll literally just put the jewelry back on, their clothes back on over the fresh tattoo, and it heals fine, right?
it's about saturated. What is the word? What is the difference between a geometric space and a flat space? Like it's about filled
Oh,
flat spaces. Sorry,
yeah,
I
it's just
just
a negative
misheard.
space. Yeah.
So in traditional tattoo, I have at least 1 to 2 centimeters of filled space, like that is packed with color and dot work and other ink color, and maybe we have some highlights even. And in Eurotrash tattooing, you have not even close to an outline amount of saturation, and that is so easy for the skin to process and heal off. And you can see most of the tattoos are posted right after the session. And there's some people who handle this so brilliantly. There is no redness in the tattoo. And then there is also other people who tattoo on what is the more common style of Eurotrash understanding. I think this is around 6 volt. And this is gonna give you a lot of redness and a lot of fake trauma on the skin, because this is not real trauma. This is not trauma that will result in scarring or will result in scabs or anything like that. It is just
Temporary.
irritated. It's the skin is irritated because the Eurotrasher scratcher style often is also not even deep enough for penetrating those layers to actually have black saturation. So a lot of the lines that you see in the Eurotrash tattoo, they look like they're bleeding or they're scratched, but it's just no color in it. It's barely any color that had the ability to sink into the holes that were there. That's why it looks red and irritated. But yeah, like you say, it goes away in one day. It's not even comparable to a realistic or a traditional tattoo with multiple layers of packed colors.
Less painful, right?
Absolutely.
Clients like that.
Almost there, some tattoos are almost pain-free, I think, especially this area. If you're getting it Eurotrash, good recommendation compared to I have heavy black works on my rib cage, and this was exercising, like that was tough. But I like this. I'm like that. I'm also, always now struggling with how I can treat my clients. For a lot of time, I was not confident enough to hurt my clients for the amount necessary to do realistic work on them. And it took me personal development to become more aggressive and to allow myself to be to hurt someone, you know, for like a 2 hours straight, I will have to go over your knee with a magnum. Um, but yeah, I think it's also again from everyone being so rookie and so like new to tattooing and already having like people to tattoo on. A lot of us were not confident enough to really make black, to really saturate, pack the skin. So you were more focused on again the realism side, the realistic idea of trying to get as little color in to the places where it needs to be versus just getting a lot of color in, you know.
Yeah, that's really interesting. That's
Mm.
cool. And so how are the people designing these tattoos and stenciling them? So like a lot of artists, I see a lot of similar inspiration. I know there's like a lot of really beautiful architecture in Europe. Like, in the US we have nothing. Nothing.
I think like yeah, I can tell from some of my close friends now they're all digging books, you know. This is the main grind. The only thing they go out to buy on the flea market is for looking for ancient old German books or I don't know, pagan history or Roman history. Roman Empire is so vast. There's millions of books and prints and beautiful artworks. Um, I think one of the main things is that one design you've probably seen it multiple times. It's like a horse. It's the Grim Reaper with a scent and a horse, and then there's
Oh
these
yeah,
angels
Dore,
flying up.
right? Dore.
Exactly, exactly. It's also I found it just not just early on Substack. I found the book from Doré. I was like, oh, this is crazy that it shows me this right now because I was looking for the reference to show it to you.
Oh, I have all the
Um,
PDFs I can send you too if you ever want the digital.
maybe we can edit it in later. But yeah, this would be great because I think everyone tattooer to also clients now has seen this, and
I've tattooed it.
I've tattooed it, so we already have some connection. Also, something that worked were these very, very classic references. Like basically, it's as simple as that. You open Pinterest, and we all actually see the same stuff. Let's be
Mhm.
honest. And then there were certain designs or graphics or like designs made from those paintings. Let's say like that. And it became really a thing. Okay, Grim Reaper, horses, and flying angels. This is a thing now. And then I think also came a new
Like
approach
the
to making those designs, which was also again like everything super small.
yeah,
And then the churches came, and then
yeah.
slowly brass ornaments become a thing. You know, you want to
Oh,
take the structure of anything that is made from concrete or metal because it already gives you kind of a simplified structure of what you're going to have to do with the tattoo design, going from a realistic horse to the tattoo design. Take a brass mold of it or something. You already have done a lot of steps there, you know, in getting illustration-ness or illustrative vibes into your drawing.
yeah.
I think that did a lot. And like, yeah, here I have some artworks from Gate. I think I
Wow.
can also
Which
I
artist
think
is that?
Gate dot six
Oh,
eight.
Gay. Yeah, yeah. He did
I
Young
don't know.
Lean's back piece.
Exactly. He's also very important in the whole creation of this style. Also, like
Where's
I
he
said,
from?
he's from Poland, Warsaw.
So
Warsaw.
this Poland movement of like Eurotrash is like really, really abstract and scratchy and hardcore DIY. I feel like when I see it, I feel like there's like they have their own like extra like underground or something. It's what it
Yeah,
seems like to me as an American.
I think Warsaw and Copenhagen they share this style.
Okay.
It's also more masculine style of this
Hmm.
direction. You know, there's like the Eurotrash that is super feminine and it's very religious almost. And then there's the Eurotrash that is very like black metal. Let's say
So
like
like
this.
for Eurotrash, we're thinking like Terra Onyx and Genko, Seis Genko. They are very
Yeah,
like more
I would
more delicate,
I
more
would say there's even more like there are good in betweens of both.
yeah,
So
they're
I
in
think
between. Think of
myself is maybe a good in between.
what about
And
feminine?
I think who are the really feminine people?
I have some Vesper,
Hmm.
Janica, Sandstorm, Ross.
Let's say Janica is a good example.
Okay.
Roni also, I think, you know, we
Roni's
speak
very
with the
feminine,
same people.
yes.
Very feminine styles. And
Mm.
yeah, I think Copenhagen or like let's say the north and like a little bit of East Europe, they really bring in more brokenness and also more deconstruction of technique, of style, of um, also pushing the boundary of what's acceptable
You
at a
said
certain point.
something in the notes. You said how something broken gets a lot of attention. And I thought that was very interesting because a lot of the Eurotrash is like taking blurry photos and doing textured or distressed designs. It's more
Mm.
engaging than a clean design. It's
Yeah,
nicer to look at. It's more interesting and it feels good. And I
I
think
agree.
that's a really interesting thing about Eurotrash. And I think it's part of its success too. When we're bored to death with the same thing for 100 years, you know?
Yeah, I think also it was a necessary reaction to everything having to be more and more perfect all the time. It's like why? You know, we are imperfect beings. And I'm a perfectionist in many ways, but I also like to challenge myself on this ego that I have almost, you know. Perfectionism is nothing else than ego towards the universe because you are thinking that you're better than creation at this point. That makes no sense to me. We will never be better than creation, and creation comes from us doing it and maybe also other people enjoying it, you know. And then like once you have this combination or like a relationship towards your creation, that's what makes it real and not like what is wrong or right, I guess. Maybe a way to say. I'm looking for something to show you
Yeah, it's
because
okay.
this is
So
also,
like with traditional tattoo, it's like hyper commercialized. It's very capitalism. It's very like, here is a thing you can walk in and buy off the shelf. You know what I mean? And then get the thing and then leave. It's like you're buying something from the store. And then with Eurotrash, you have this, you know, it's more of a movement, right?
it's like a
And
massive freehand movement also. I think, but
so
this comes now slowly more with the cyber tribal and cyber sigilism style that evolved out of Eurotrash. So Eurotrash is really focusing on Gothic references, on church imagery, on like religious layout. Like you know, you have stars here. You also have a lot of language of the Russian prison tattoo design idea. You have churches in the center. You have stars, horses, animals here, etc.
realism
And
too.
also from realism, of course.
The
And
Russian
then
prison tattoo is like the OG realism.
yeah, I still think that, like I say, the Russian, actually, this is a good way to see it. The Russian prison tattoo is the perfect middle between scratcher portraits and like realistic portraits, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
It's just shows like someone extremely skilled with not a good enough setup to match their skill. But then you still have a result, and the result is more than unique because it's I think with making music, you see this a lot. If you use machines, you kind of don't want to have the most new, polished, perfect sounding machine because it doesn't give you character. And the same thing also counts for every other art form. If you have a tool that gives you character, that is already something very powerful as an artist in order to stand out later on, you know? And I think a lot of tattooers, they start with shitty machines, start with a shitty coin machine, and it really gives them years of insight into doing something wrong that then later on will really make you stand out. Like I'm convinced of this, and I see this with traditional tattooers where I know their history. Those people who have like like mind blowing style, they all actually learned themselves, and they all did something wrong for many years,
I agree. I've
and
seen
now
this myself.
they've just skipped they skilled it, you know, they created their own way of using the tattoo machine. It is just a brush, and we have to accept it. It is just a brush, and if you're somewhat managing with your client, then I don't see any limitations.
Yeah, it's the clients
Unfortunately.
that matters. And you said this too. You said learn how to draw with a broken brush. Like
Yeah,
when you learn to do this, it gives you this unique like skill. And you still
yeah,
keep learning and getting better. I'll say one other thing with the Eurotrash artists is everyone just started and everyone is getting so good so fast. And
yeah.
you are so incredibly impressive and it's just the beginning. And I'm so
It is
excited
super interesting. Yeah,
because you all keep getting better. I think a lot of American art styles, I see them just lock in and it doesn't evolve and it doesn't improve. But with Eurotrash, I see something else happening. I see everyone is like doing crazier, better, more inspiring.
yeah. I actually think the new wave of American artists is overwhelming. How good they are and how much it has perfection, the things that we were like trying to collect, but somehow no one really managed to pinpoint it that fast. And then I think now we have American artists for like 2, 3 years in the game who really pinpointed those specific directions. And maybe that was a bit of also like a weakening through the scene because it created what you mentioned at the beginning of our conversation, that now other people are more prone to believe that those people with 30K are the ones who started. Like, oh, you have 40,000 followers, you must be the origin of this. It's not true. It's like also doesn't matter who's the origin of it. It's not about. I think this discussing this would never make sense, but at the same time, if you want to understand this style, and then you also got to see where it comes from, and where it comes from is maybe not as perfect yet, you know. So I understand that certain people think like, oh, why would this come from that person, for example, when now it looks so complex and defined and it's already such a final product again, which it wasn't for a long time. It was really experimental tattoos that were also meant to be changed over time. Like, hey, if you don't like your tattoo anymore that I did in the first half year that I started tattooing, let's grow it, let's continue it and change it to or update it towards this new level that we have now. And yeah, like I said, I think the new generation of tattooers will face some sort of struggle of feeling bored with their art. And I mean, I know this from a lot of people. They feel bored about their stuff because it's too consumable already, and it's you will grow out of it basically. You know, you will do this and perfect it, and maybe you were able to skip some steps, and then you will find your own thing that will be complicated and hard and like mind-wracking, and then your thing will start. And it's totally fine, I think, for everyone to go this path. Like,
And it's backed up by by science and math, right? So everyone I've talked to, every like successful artist who has a unique style, they all have the same clients that support them for the rest of their lives. So they get their mailing list of like 2,000 people, and then those same people book with them again and again and again for the next 30 years. So it's all about building up your clientele, keeping a mailing list, and they will support you for the rest of your life. And you're not competing with these people with studios with walk-in shops, right? You're finding people connect with you and your art, and that's different.
yeah, it's
Um,
beautiful.
but you have to be different, though. You have to be brave.
Yeah,
You have to risk something. You have to risk it all. You have to be brave and try something hard and scary and difficult, and maybe it doesn't work. But that's how you can find success too, right?
yeah, I guess you as Americans, you know this much better how important it is to take risks in your life because you're like risiko is so it's so thrilled towards the society that you are living in. And I think maybe this is what I tried to say a bit also with the privilege, mentioning European privilege is very, we don't have risk here, you know. We all just like, ah, whatever. If I lose my job tomorrow, then I just go to the job center.
Interesting.
And then you kind of get lazy. You lose the fighting. That's why I'm so impressed with what's happening in America and cyber socialism, because people are so on point. They're so on fire. They're so in it with their heart to make the best out of it. And it was kind of a lazy style. I'm not gonna lie. Like this was not meant to be the craziest new thing. Like, of course, I was thinking about this, how to make this the craziest new thing. I'm sure my friends and colleagues were thinking about it every day, waking up. What can I draw that is even cooler? But it's kind of toned down. It's cooled down already for 2, 3 years because no one from the beginning still even has the energy to push like that. And now we have new people in the game who are they have this energy to push like that, and it's so crazy beautiful to see what to what stage it has come now, like to what level of design and intricacy in the design work, and like I'm just always like flabbergasted.
Like Who
I
Burnt
love,
My Dinner, Georgina.
yeah,
Like every day, I
thinking
love
about
seeing
it,
her work.
like so
Every
great.
day.
Or for me, like Poco Machine, for example, or Dirt in My Skin, like this is mind-blowing artwork. This is
Yeah.
mind-blowing technique, and they you can see how the micro-realistic technical skill has merged with the Eurotrash way of designing, with the brokenness of like Warsaw and maybe the North, and merging into something new and beautiful. that is perfect now. And I think we have reached perfect cybervigilism or whatever you want to call it, which
Right. It
didn't exist
caps out.
before.
Right.
It
But
didn't exist
to
in the last
summarize,
years.
this is the important thing. This style started in Europe. Full
In
stop.
Berlin, I think.
Yeah. In Berlin.
Like in the relationship from Berlin to the other cities, like Berlin, Copenhagen,
Berlin,
Berlin,
Copenhagen,
Warsaw, Bologna,
Warsaw.
very important. We are not to
Well,
forget Italy. Italy, very
Italy.
important. Italy has a lot of scratchers who really they embody the trash, scratchy tattoo.
Hot on it.
Roman,
Yeah.
yeah, I think she's still more like northern in a way.
Okay.
Like the people from Bologna or people from Rome and further down Italy, the south, they really have Milano has really great artists also.
This
It's
movement really
different. It's
started
different.
there.
It's like avant-garde brokenness, for example. You have fun artists, the Genocida, very cool, also very mentionable, respectable art style and person. And Kanye West shouted them out, for example. It was like, whoa, like,
No
why
way.
go to Italy for pizza? I go to Italy to get a tattoo from broken avant-gardists. And I found it extremely funny because it just works, It's also a lot about your location. If you're in one of those fashionable cities, which is Paris, London, Milan, Berlin, Copenhagen, like you gotta be around the people that bring fashion into your clientele, that bring music, new style, like more art, and then it becomes this vast network of arts and artists just working together. And like I think most of my drawings are inspired literally from covers that friends made for their tracks or like whatever I saw on this time, and has so little to do with tattoo actually at the
Right.
end of the day. And I think so many of my colleagues will tell you the same. They're like, my main inspiration is music. I had no idea about drawing. Like it's also important in Eurotrash that you don't really know how to draw. This is a very specific type of Eurotrash. I also want to mention it. It's so cool. There was a specific ideology or idea also to not stencil it out, but to take images on your phone and just trace them with the machine. Again, lowest setting possible. You go 4 volts, 2.5 volts, and I just, I hold the image next to your arm and I try to pigment where I see the pigment.
Yeah.
And
Free
this is
machine.
crazy for some people. They would be like, why would you do that? You're not stretching, you're not, I don't know, you're doing everything wrong. But this is not about it being technically right. This is about the painting with the machine idea and process. And this is something I can only respect because it's important to research this field.
Me too.
It's important to research this field. It's important to see how it heals, and it heals totally fine. Like, stop fucking around. There's no difference between your traditional blowout and a blowout that happened by accident or whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't see it. I think a lot of the criticism I got over the time, I always take a lot of time for it. Respect everyone who comes up and says like, "Hey, no," or like, whatever they think.
We took into consideration the criticism. We look at them, we consider it, we check, and we're like, hey, everything we are looking into says that's not true. I don't know what to tell you. We checked though. We did check.
Yeah, totally.
Well, so we're gonna wrap it up. I just wanted to say, in conclusion, this is a movement that started in Europe, full stop. It's inspiring people all over the world. It's becoming, I think, since it's not just a trend, it's a movement, and we're going to see it continue to stay strong, maybe for the rest of our lives.
It's
I
gonna
think
grow,
it's,
like
yep,
like I said, it will become realism. Like we know it, you
yep,
know it, I know it. It will
yep.
be so perfect in a few years that it has no more idea of Eurotrash. Because
Interesting.
it's already happening where people come
Right.
back and they like, hey, can we fix this? Can we make it softer? Like people also slowly start understanding
Hmm.
the layers of depth of different tattoo definition,
Yeah. You can always layer
because
it. I love that about the style though.
yeah, and Instagram is a bit mean with this. It's hard to tell the definition of a tattoo if I'm 1 meter away taking
Right.
like a wide angle picture. And
That's a good
then,
conversation for another day, though. That's an
yeah,
interesting thing. We got to look at some tattoos together next time because
yeah,
there's some
please.
good, great
I would
artists.
really like to.
And the artists that are popping up all over the world in America, Australia, and elsewhere, they're inspired by this philosophy, this new way of doing tattoos, and they're meeting you guys. They're getting tattooed by you. They're guesting in the cities,
Yeah,
and they're doing really cool stuff. And it's cool to see everyone bringing their own thing to it. And this is the underground. You DIY self-taught people. This is not, a mainstream thing. So in America, corporate has a way of like saying this, like they will never acknowledge that in anything. They will never say this is a self-taught person. They will erase you, right? So I'm tired of seeing that because they did that with cyber sigillism, like the biggest tattoo studio, Monolith, stole a bunch of artists' work, put it on their website, and like they were like, "Oh, we also offer cyber sigillism tattoos," and then there's no history and no tag. You know what I mean? So thank you for coming on so that we can, prevent that from happening because that shit sucks. You know.
For sure.
And I really appreciate you. Yeah, love your work. If people can follow you at Soraxer. How do you say it?
Sora XCR.
Sora XER. Ooh, I like that. Okay. Yeah. So at Sora XER on Instagram, we'll definitely make sure to tag you. Your work is really beautiful.
I appreciate
And
you a lot.
yeah, I appreciate you. This has been amazing. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
sharing with me.
Of
It's a privilege to share knowledge, and it's great to have you here. Thank you. Well,
Thank
hey, we'll
you.
talk again soon.
Yeah, let's do.
Okay, bye.
Bye.